Hey, what's up, guys? It's Lashana, and welcome back to the Millennium Club. Today's topic is going to be about relationships, and I'm going to be sharing 5 tips that will help you have a successful relationship. Okay, let's get started. So, tip number 1, you have to have a give and take in your relationships. When you're in a relationship with someone, whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship, you can't want to receive and not want to give. And I know this sounds very cliche, like everybody's like, well, duh, like that makes sense. But a lot of us get into relationships for what people can do for us. Like, I'm depressed, I wish I had friends. Or I'm lonely, I wish I had a boyfriend. Like, those are the wrong reasons to have a friendship or a relationship, because you're expecting people to give you something that you can only give yourself. So you have to get an equal give and take in a relationship. You have to be solid in who you are as a person, confident in yourself, so that you can pour into someone's life and they can pour back into your life. If you are the giver, then you're constantly going to be draining. And if you're the taker, then you're draining the other person. You're constantly sucking up energy. So there has to be an equal give and take in a friendship or a relationship. The second tip I would say is willingness to accept flaws. Now, this is a big one. I struggled with this so much in my relationships, and I missed out on a lot of great friendships because I wasn't willing to accept people and their flaws. Now, I'm a firm believer that there are deal breakers that I will not accept in someone in a friendship and in a relationship. But besides those top 3 deal breakers, where they're my core, my value, everything else is up for negotiation. So, for example, if you have a friend, she's a really good friend, she calls you a lot, she's super attentive, but she's always late. And you've spoken to her about it a couple times, but she can't seem to get it right. You know that she's a good person, but she's not good with timing. So instead of constantly telling her the same thing over and over again, just make sure that when you're hanging out with her, you show up 20 minutes late. So that's her early. You meet her halfway. If you're in a relationship and your boyfriend doesn't know how to dress, or he may not necessarily know what date night is, that's not a reason to break up with the person. You can buy him clothes and say, babe, I would love if you wear this. I think this will look really good on you. Or, babe, date night is important to me because of blah, 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 blah. How about we research places and we both can try out different foods that we like at different restaurants. You have to find out what your top 3 goals and values are for that relationship or that friendship. And as long as it's not compromising that or compromising your integrity or your respect, we have to accept the flaws that are within people. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. So let's stop looking for perfection in other people. The third thing I would say is learn how to forgive. Forgiveness is the biggest thing in a relationship, and it sometimes can ruin people's friendships and relationships because we do not know how to forgive and forget. We want to forgive and we want to hold on to grudges. If you're a friend and you got into an argument, once you guys have diffused the argument, forgive that person and forget about it. No one wants to feel like old things from the past are constantly being rehamped and being brought back to life. So once something has been dealt with, you guys have talked it through, just forgive that person and move on. Because if you don't, you're going to end up possibly ruining the relationship because you don't know how to forgive and forget. Right? And I'm not talking about cheating or, there's things that obviously, in my opinion, are non-forgivable, non-negotiables. Once again, find out what your negotiables are, and anything that falls, underneath that, I think you should be able to forgive somebody for that. So the fourth thing I want to talk about is categorizing friendships. Now, categorizing friendships are so important, and this is just for friendships, not relationships, because not romantic relationships, but I think categorizing friendships is so important because we can't have 15 best friends. It's not active. You can't have 20 best friends. It's not possible. So you need to figure out who's my best friend, who is my go-to person for advice, who's my mentor. You have to categorize your friendships into categories so you're not expecting a cuddling conversation from a mentor. So if I know this girl she's a good friend, but she's more like a mentor friend, I'm not going to go to her with my boy problems because she's not mentoring me on my personal life. She's mentoring me on a business level. If I know I have a best friend, I can go to her and trust her with all of my problems and all of my situations and just let my hair down. And then I might have another friend that we're just friends. You know what I mean? And I won't share my business with her. Like, she knows where I live, we hang out sometimes, but I'm not going to go tell her my deepest, darkest secrets. So we need to categorize our friendships so we don't get hurt. Because if we walk around thinking that everybody's our best friend, and this is a big issue with millennials, if we walk around and we think everybody's our best friend, we end up losing out on really good friendships because we're so like putting everybody in the same box. And there's no way you can fit 15 people in the same box. It's going to be too crowded in that box. Think about that. It's going to be too crowded in that box. So stop trying to fit too many people in one box. One person in a box is a good enough space. And the last thing I want to talk about is learning when to let go. We have to learn when to let go. We have to learn that some friendships are situational. Sometimes we are friends with somebody at work, and when we change our job, we're no longer friends with that person. Friendships are situational. They're not meant to last forever. Some of them will last forever, but most of the friendships that you have in your life are going to be situational. So never be sad or heartbroken when friendships don't work out because they weren't meant to be there for that long. That goes back to point number 4. Categorize your friendships. Because if you're categorizing your friendships, guys, then you'll be able to know that this person was a work friendship and it wasn't like a long-term friendship. So I'm not going to get mad when he changes her job or she changes her job or I change my job and we're no longer together. So those are my 5 tips. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what are some relationship negotiations for you. What are some relationship deal breakers for you? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.